We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next hour. India's energy production set to rise from the deepest frontiers. ONGC commences first oil production from flagship Deepwater asset. PM Modi terms it as a remarkable step. India summons Maldivian High Commissioner over derogatory remarks by their ministers. India strongly raises concerns. Maldivian leaders too slam the remarks. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina wins fourth straight term. Her party secures two-thirds majority in polls. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will hold talks in the UAE and Saudi Arabia on Monday before heading on to Israel. Netanyahu pledges to continue Gaza war until all goals achieved. Zverev leads Germany to United Cup title against Poland in Sydney. And the news in detail now as India powers ahead as the fastest growing economy under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Country's energy production is also set to rise from the deepest frontiers. India's state-controlled Oil and Natural Gas Corporation has kick-started oil production from its flagship Deepwater project in the Krishna-Godavari basin offshore the nation's eastern coast. The oil production is expected to be 45,000 barrels per day and over 10 million cubic meters of gas per day, which will contribute to self-reliance in energy production. This project is expected to add 7% to current India's local oil production and 7% to India's natural gas production. Gas production from project has already commenced in March 2020 with plan of further ramping up by May 2024. The production will help India save nearly 110 billion Indian rupees per year. India imports 85% of its crude oil requirements and about half of its natural gas needs. Well, Prime Minister has termed it as a remarkable move. In a tweet, he said, and I quote, "This is a remarkable step in India's energy journey and boost our mission for an Atmanirbhar Bharat. It will have several benefits for our economy as well," unquote. And Ajay Mishra now joins us for more on this. Well, Ajay, first production commenced from the KG Basin. What does it mean for energy security of India?
Let me take you back in 2018 when this prestigious project was launched. The estimate was that it will going to commence the production of 8,000 to 9,000 barrels per day. But look at the tweet from the minister himself yesterday that the production now, which is going to commence from the KG Basin via ONGC, is going to be 45,000 barrels per day. So almost 5 times of the initial estimates. That's huge. Initially, I think ONGC is going to explore its first crude and oil gas from KG Basin from 3 to 4 wells, and it will be increased eventually in the days to come. From where will this crude oil go? This is the big question. So so we understand that this will first go to MRPL, which is ONGC. It will be first tested in the labs of MRPL to decide the grade of this crude and what should be the price if it is going to be exported internationally. So India, it's a great day for energy security of India, where since many years we have been tracking this news of production of oil and gas from the KG Basin. Reliance, along with the Bharat Petroleum, 5 years back failed to do that because of the oil and sand infiltration into the wells. But learning from those mistakes, now the state-owned ONGC have given us the good news in the new year that the ONGC, the company, have the plans to commence its first production, and this is a huge for Indian energy security. Not only crude oil, but we are going to produce the natural gas also. So gas production, you will see the 7% increase, as you have just told. There will be increase in the production of crude oil to the tune of 7%. How much it will save? it is going to save 11,000 crore rupees annually for the exchequer. That's huge, and I think it's a big milestone for the energy security, Lipakshi.
All right, that's very huge and a great day for India's energy sector. Ajay, but as you said, what is the way forward for India's energy sector from now?
So it is not just oil and gas, Lipakshi. We are exploring the renewables. You have seen that during the G20, we have launched the International Biofuel Alliance, where India is also focusing on the biofuel. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with the French President, have already launched the International Solar Alliance, in which many of the countries are now a very proud part. So India is working, in different directions in several for the energy security, be it biofuel, be it the solar energy. We are focusing on wind energy. Hydro is a huge focus that we are going to gain the energy from. So it's a complete approach. It's an approach in totality which the Indian government as well as the Indian state companies along with the private sector are exploring and adopting to achieve the energy security. This is huge, and going forward we understand that energy demand, as we are going to be the third largest economy in the world, the energy demand is also going to increase, and obviously some of the energy needs are going to be met from the domestic sources, as has been explained by different quarters of the oil ministry. But we will also be dependent on the imports. As we say, the 70% of the oil is being imported from internationally. So we understand that we will be diversifying our energy portfolio going forward, and we aspire to be the self-reliant in the oil and gas production, especially in the energy sector in the days to come.
Right. Also, Ajay, as our Prime Minister tweeted that this is a remarkable step in India's energy journey and towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. What do you have to say about that?
So absolutely, I think energy is first and foremost, ingredient for making India a developed world by 2047, because it is energy consumption which is going to increase at the first place when you are going to grow. When you are going to build the infrastructure, you need energy. When the population grows, for its basic needs, you need energy. For daily life consumption, we need energy. There is no progress can happen without energy, Lipakshi, and that's very important that the ONGC, the state-run company, have decided to invest almost 85,000 crore rupees in the span of next 16 years in this first production only. So going forward, we understand that the private sector companies like Reliance and BP will also compete with ONGC to start the production, and they will not commit the same mistakes that they have committed in the past. And we understand that along with the help of other stakeholders in different energy sectors, along with the energy conservation measures taken by the government of India, India is aspiring to become self-reliant in energy security, and that's what we are aiming for.
All right, Ajay, thank you so much for that update. And moving on, India summoned Maldives High Commissioner over remarks made by 3 Maldives ministers who were later suspended. Maldives High Commissioner Ibrahim Shahib reached the Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi after being summoned. And earlier, taking action on the matter, the Maldives government in a statement said the government of Maldives is aware of derogatory remarks on social media platforms against foreign leaders and high-ranking individuals. These opinions are personal and do not represent the views of the government of Maldives. The government believes that the freedom of expression should be exercised in a democratic and responsible manner and in ways that do not spread hatred, negativity, and hinder close relationships between the Maldives and its international partners. Well, the 3 suspended ministers are Mariam Shuina, Malshar Sharif and Mehzoom Majid. Ministers were in the Maldivian Youth Ministry. Also, Maldives Minister of Foreign Affairs Musa Zamir has termed derogatory remarks against foreign leaders as unacceptable. Musa Zamir said such remarks do not reflect the official position of the Maldives government. He further stated that the Maldives remains committed to fostering a positive and constructive dialogue with all its partners, particularly its neighbors. On Sunday, former Maldivian President Ibrahim Mohamed Solih condemned the use of hateful language against India, saying New Delhi has always been a good friend to the island nation. Even former Maldivian Former Minister Abdullah Shahid too termed the remarks as reprehensible and odious. Former Vice President of Maldives Ahmed Adib, who gets the credit for boosting tourism industry in Maldives, and former Minister of Youth and Sports Ahmed Mehlouf too spoke against the hateful comments. And for more on this, we have a correspondent, Amritpal, joining us. Well, Amritpal, India has summoned a Maldivian High Commission over the derogatory remarks by the ministers who were later suspended. What can you tell us about this?
Well, Lipakshi is right that the Maldivian envoy to India was summoned this morning amid the escalating row over tweets made by MPs and ministers of Maldives who were suspended. These three ministers for making derogatory remarks against Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the people of India. Though Maldives has already distanced itself from the remarks made by its ministers and MPs, but India expressed strong, reservations against these remarks because they obviously go against the grain of friendly relations, bilateral relations between the two countries. So India's in very strong words conveyed to the Maldivian envoy its reservations and its strong reluctance against these remarks made by a friendly country of India.
All right. Also, former Deputy Speaker of the island nation, Eva Abdullah, who's also a sitting MP, said the outrage over the comments was understandable. She also apologized for the same. Where do you see this going in terms of the relationship between the two countries, Amrit?
It's a very close relationship, India and Maldives share. So, given the reactions coming from Maldives, including the quick, suspension of these three ministers by President Mohamed Moizu and various other politicians of Maldives, including their foreign minister, reiterating the relationship's importance. So I think this will pass and in the long term not cast its long shadow over the strong relationship. But yes, surely right for the moment it's created a diplomatic row and encouraged quarters which are anti-India inside Maldives. But I guess the relationship and its foundations are solid, and the two countries would want to mend this relationship and want to strengthen the relationship, which is important for both countries, given their geographical and the close cultural and people-to-people ties that exist between the two countries.
Also, Amrit, a lot of activity right now is going on the social media. Hashtags like Explore India Islands, Lakshadweep, all going on fully at the moment. What do you have to say about that?
I think it's quite an unnecessary controversy that social media spat that has ensued. There is no question of Lakshadweep versus Maldives as a tourist destination or any kind of, looking at it as a viable alternate to Maldives, because both are very different destinations. So there is no competitive competition in terms of tourism or hurting each other's interests. Indian Prime Minister has every right to post his photographs and promote any destination within his own country, but that does not mean that it comes at the cost of another country. So I think it is quite an unfortunate and unnecessary controversy which one sees over the social media right now.
All right. Thank you so much, Amrit. Not only diplomatic quarters, but in social media too. The High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka has been Moving on, Santosh Jha and Sri Lanka's Minister of Transport, Highways and Mass Media, Dr. Bandula Gundarvardena, launched track rehabilitation project at Gaglamuva railway station on Sunday. The second phase of the project for track rehabilitation of Maho Anuradhapura line is being executed under an Indian line of credit of $318 million and will be completed in the period of 6 months. The upgrade will help people from northern province to seamlessly travel to the capital of the island nation. Well, in a major milestone for the Indian Air Force in terms of operational and troops deployment capabilities, the IF demonstrated a groundbreaking feat by landing a C-130J Super Hercules aircraft on an airstrip in Kargil during night for the first time. Making this operation even more complex, the Indian Air Force employed terrain masking en route, a technique of low-altitude flight used by military aircraft to avoid enemy radar and infrared detection, enhancing the stealth and security of the aircraft and the troops. The night landing exercise was integrated with the training mission of the Garud Commandos, an elite special unit of the Indian Air Force, enhancing operational coordination between its air and ground units. Located in northern Union Territory of Ladakh at an altitude of 8,800 feet, Kargil holds immense strategic significance for India's defense capabilities as it has a close proximity with Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and China. And now, time for a short break.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour. From sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has won re-election for a 4th straight term as her party secured an absolute majority amid low turnout in the general election. Hasina's ruling party, Awami League, has won 2/3 of the seats in the general elections, marred by violence and a boycott by the main opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party and its allies. Hasina will serve another 5 years in office after her party won 165 seats of the 300-seat parliament. Hasina won the Gopalganj 3 seat for the 8th time since 1986. Sunday's result comes after mass arrest of BNP leaders and supporters. The BNP boycotted the election after the Awami League rejected their demand for an independent caretaker government to preside over the polls. Well, DD India correspondent Naval Singh Parmar joins us live from Dhaka for more. Well, Naval Singh, Sheikh Hasina wins 4th straight term and retains her title as the world's longest-serving female head of government. This was more or less evident after opposition boycotted the election.
Yes, still now the counting is going on, but as per the media reports coming from the various media outlets in Bangladesh, that the Sheikh Hasina-led Awami League party won 223 seats out of 299 for whom polling was done yesterday. And the main opposition party in parliament, Jatiya Party, just won 11 seats, and the remaining 62 seats are won by the independent candidates and the 3 other parties. So this is the big victory for the Sheikh Hasina-led Awami League party, and it will give her a straight 4th term in Bangladesh as a prime minister. Though official statement from the Election Commission of Bangladesh yet to come regarding the results of the 12th national election of Bangladesh.
Also, the Election Commission has put the turnout at about 40% this time. It's a sharp drop from the 80% participation of polls in 2018. Why do you think the turnout was so low, Naval Singh?
Yes, it is evident that the main opposition party, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, and its allies boycotted the election, alleging free and fair election is not possible under this government. And due to that, people were thinking that this will be easy walk for the Sheikh Hasina-led Awami League party. So many people did not come for the vote, and that is the main reason behind the low voter turnout. Though the independent candidates, as we have a results now with us, that the 62 independent candidate won election in this parliamentary election, and they gave tough competition. Even sitting MPs and Minister of States from the Awami League government, 3 of them lost their election to the independent candidates.
Right. You said 62 independent candidates have won this. What significance do you see in that?
Yes, actually, in the absence of major opposition party, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, many candidates from the BNP as well as its allies, those who are having a stronghold in their respective constituency, they choose to contest election, but there were very short time, so they were run out of time, and they choose to contest independently. And 50% of the candidate who won, more than 50% who won election, are the independent candidate, those who are earlier in Awami League. So we can say that the independent candidate from the Awami League elected in more numbers.
All right. Thank you so much, Naval Singh, for that update. And moving on, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has assured Arab leaders that Washington opposes the forcible displacement of Palestinians from Gaza. Blinken met with Qatar's Emir Sheikh on Sunday during his ongoing Middle East trip. Following a separate meeting with top Qatari officials, Blinken said Palestinian civilians must not be pressed to leave Gaza. Blinken also said discussions included efforts to free the over 100 hostages still believed to be held by Hamas after an earlier agreement mediated by Qatar broke down.
Too many Palestinian civilians are suffering from insufficient access to food, to water, to medicine, to other essential supplies. Children, most of all. We continue to raise with Israel the need to do everything possible to facilitate the provision of humanitarian aid to Gaza, and I will do so again when I'm there later this week.
Blinken was in Jordan earlier on Sunday.
I promise you this: the United States will continue to work relentlessly to bring you home, to get you together with your family and loved ones.
Blinken will now travel to Israel, the West Bank, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia and Egypt during his 4th trip to the region. European Union's top diplomat Joseph Borrell is also touring the region to try to quell spillover from the war into Lebanon, the West Bank and Red Sea shipping lanes, where Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis have vowed to keep up attacks until Israel halts its campaign in the Palestine. And Israeli will continue war in Gaza until Hamas is eliminated and all Israelis returned. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated this at the weekly cabinet meeting on Sunday, saying the war will continue till they ensure that Gaza no longer poses a threat to Israel.
We are not stopping until victory. The war must not be stopped until we achieve all of its goals. The elimination of Hamas, the return of all our hostages, and ensuring that Gaza no longer poses a threat to Israel. I say this to both our enemies and our friends. This is our responsibility and this is our commitment. Every other consideration must be set aside and we must continue until the total victory.
Well, dozens, including Israel's war cabinet member Benny Gantz, gathered for the funeral of the Lieutenant Colonel Michai at Tel Aviv's Kiryat Shaul cemetery. Mordechai fell in combat on January 6th in the northern Gaza Strip as the Israel-Hamas conflict continues. He was a section commander and promoted posthumously from major to lieutenant colonel. Later this week, Israel's cabinet is set to approve a 2024 wartime budget on Thursday after ministers approved $2.5 billion in financial support for military reservists. Meanwhile, family members of remaining Hamas hostages in Gaza called on Qatar and other negotiating parties on Sunday to double up efforts to secure the release of their loved ones. The family said they had meetings over the weekend with Qatari senior officials involved in negotiations. With time passing by, family members continue to express anguish that the world attention is shifting elsewhere. Of around 240 people taken captive on October 7th, almost half were released by Hamas during a brief truce in November. Well, amid rising tensions after the killing of Hamas deputy chief Saleh al-Arori, smoke and fighter jets were seen over the Israel-Lebanon border area on Sunday as Hezbollah and Israel continue to exchange cross-border fire. Hezbollah has been escalating tensions at the border since October last year. Saleh was killed in a drone attack in the suburbs of Beirut, a stronghold of Hamas' Lebanese ally Hezbollah, in an attack blamed on Israel, which has neither denied or confirmed it carried out the killing. Well, moving on, Russia-Ukraine continue its counter-offensive against each other. The latest battle reports say that both the countries in the move have destroyed each other's military targets by waging attacks and offensives in multiple fronts. The Russian Defense Ministry said on Sunday that the Russian forces repelled multiple attacks from Ukraine in the directions of Donetsk region, hitting Ukrainian effective forces and equipment. The Russian Air Defense Forces shot down 2 Ukrainian Su-25 fighter jets and 1 Su-27 fighter jet and destroyed 38 Ukrainian drones. Ukraine claimed its army repelled the Russian offensive in the directions of Bakhmut and Avdiivka. The Ukrainian Air Force carried out attacks on the command post and ammunition depots of Russian military personnel and equipment. Well, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met Japanese Foreign Minister Yoko Kamikawa on Sunday on a first visit to Kyiv. Foreign Minister Yoko Kamikawa pledged Japan's continued support for Ukraine during her unannounced visit. The Japanese Foreign Ministry said in a statement that Japan would strongly demonstrate its commitment to the recovery and reconstruction of Ukraine under a public-private partnership by hosting a Japan-Ukraine conference on the 19th of February. And German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock on Sunday announced that Germany will allow deliveries of Eurofighter jets to Saudi Arabia. While Chancellor Olaf Scholz pushed to unblock the deliveries, coalition was against the move, highlighting the human rights concerns related to Saudi Arabia. It is to be noted that the Eurofighter project is a joint venture of Britain, Germany, Spain and Italy. Addressing a conference in Jerusalem, the minister called on Israel to do more to protect civilians in Gaza. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. The bodies of 2 hikers have been discovered by a Italian mountain rescue team in the Alps close to the Swiss border. One was being recovered from a lake, the other discovered buried in the snow. The rescue team, despite strong winds, sent a helicopter to the scene and a dog trained in rescue operations. The victims have not been named yet. The Balochistan diaspora have been staging protests outside the White House against Pakistan and the enforced disappearances of Baloch people, with one of the protesters being a Baloch individual. In New York City, Mayor Eric Adam and Deputy Commissioner of International Affairs Dilip Chauhan attended the Mata Ki Chauki celebration in New York. Eric Adam also said, if we look at the Hindu community in New York City, this is extremely important as it gives Hindu community to celebrate and lift up their spirituality. Colombians celebrated diversity in Pasto with a colorful parade, marking the end of the Blacks and the Whites Carnival. The festival, inspired by Colombian heritage, biodiversity and myths, features floats and a 6-hour parade on the Day of the Whites and the Day of the Blacks. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Taiwan accuses China of securing threat with balloons, alleges psychological warfare ahead of polls. UK PM Rishi Sunak spells out efforts being undertaken in the aftermath of devastating flooding across England. And devotees celebrate Flower Kavadi festival in the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. India's energy production set to rise from the deepest frontiers. ONGC commences first oil production from flagship Deepwater asset. PM Modi terms it as a remarkable step. India summons Maldivian High Commissioner over derogatory remarks by the ministers. India strongly raises concerns. Maldivian leaders to slam the remarks. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina wins fourth straight term. Her party secures two-thirds majority in polls. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will hold talks in the UAE and Saudi Arabia on Monday before heading on to Israel. Netanyahu pledges to continue Gaza war until all goals achieved. And Zverev leads Germany to United Cup title against Poland in Sydney. All right, moving on. Taiwan's defense ministry said it detected 3 Chinese balloons flying over the Taiwan Strait, the latest in a spate of such balloons the ministry says it has spotted over the past month. One of the balloons crossed over the southern tip of Taiwan Island, the ministry said in a statement. The ministry accused China of threatening aviation safety and waging psychological warfare with the balloons days before key Taiwanese elections. Similar balloon activities were observed in the Taiwan Strait last month. International concern over China's deployment of spy balloons intensified in February 2023 when the United States shot down a comparable device asserting it was a Chinese surveillance balloon. Well, China said its security agencies found another incident of spying in which the British Secret Intelligence Service, also known as MI6, used a foreigner in China to collect secrets and information. China, a Ministry of State Security, revealed on its social media account that a foreigner was in charge of an overseas consulting agency, and in 2015, MI6 established an intelligence cooperative relationship with the person. The MI6 also instructed him to enter China several times and instructed him to use his public identity as a cover to collect China-related intelligence for British spying, the statement said. The consulting agency was not disclosed by the Chinese government. Meanwhile, the British government has said Chinese spies are targeting its officials in sensitive positions in politics, defense and business as part of an increasingly spying operation to gain access to secrets. And DD India correspondent Patrick Fogg joins us with more from Singapore. Well, Patrick, 3 more balloons are reported today after yesterday's complaint. What is Beijing trying to achieve with this?
Well, it's difficult to say what China is trying to achieve precisely. Its defense ministry hasn't commented on the balloons, and to an extent, it doesn't feel that it has to. As we know, China regards Taiwan as part of its sovereign territory. But this is certainly provocative, not just because it comes, as you say, just after the previous complaint was made over the spate of balloons it's spotted over the past month, but also, as you say as well, one of the 3 balloons that was spotted flew over the southern tip of the island. It didn't just fly over the median line, it flew over the actual island itself. And I think you've got to be looking at why this is happening. It's hard to say this isn't, as Taiwan argues, a part of psychological warfare by China ahead of this key vote on Saturday. And, you know, the 3 candidates vying for the presidency all offer a different version of the status quo, but Beijing regards the head of the DPP, the leading candidate of the DPP, and the party as separatists. It is, as I say, William Lai is leading the polls, as I say, and, you know, this is perhaps a message from China to say that, well, if he does win, then it is going to mean a continuation of tense relations between the 2 sides. But you may also make the argument that this could backfire for China because it is creating a lot of anger in Taiwan about Beijing's assertiveness.
Right, Patrick, if you talk about the timing, it's, as you said, it's a very sensitive time for Taiwan ahead of its presidential election. What can you tell us about its response?
Yeah, there has been some interesting reaction because, in the past, these balloons that have been spotted over the island, we've heard from authorities in Taiwan suggesting that they appear to be weather balloons and to play down these balloons. But, then we're getting this very strong reaction, as we've heard, threatening aviation and psychological warfare and all of that as we near the election. And you wonder whether or not this is because it is having an impact on the Taiwanese government. It may also arguably be trying to send a message to its people about, what Beijing's intentions are, and also trying to highlight China's aggressiveness to voters as well. It's difficult to say whether or not that's the case, but certainly the response from Taiwan in recent days has been different to what we've seen in the past.
All right. Thank you so much for that update from there, Patrick. And moving on, satellite images show Japan's earthquake, which caused damage. The 7.6 magnitude quake destroyed infrastructure and power links to 22,000 homes in the Hokkaido region. Hundreds of displaced residents in Japan's Wajima city are sheltering at Noto Satoyama Airport, a 24-hour temporary shelter and emergency supply center. All flights have been cancelled, causing runway cracks. Residents are facing water supply issues and other daily necessities. The airport remains closed, and it will take until January 25th for passengers' flight to resume. And as Britain still grapples with the after effect of the last week's devastating floods, PM Sunak speaks about his plan on flood defences. Speaking with Environment Agency workers on Sunday, Sunak said $6.6 billion had been invested in flood defences, adding that more than 1,000 Environment Agency personnel were assisting local communities in rehabilitation. Rivers and banks have been overflowing as a succession of storms battered England and Wales.
Well, when it comes to flood defences in particular, we've invested £5.2 billion in flood defences over the period in question. That's a record sum, far more than we've done in the future. That's contributed to protecting over 300,000 homes. And of course, there have been many people affected by what's happened over the past week, but also 49,000 homes have been protected from flooding as a result of that investment, and also things like the pumps that I've been seeing here today and the flood barriers. Just in the community I've been walking around, hundreds of homes have been protected because of those investments.
Well, amid nature's fury, South Indian state of Tamil Nadu braces for heavy to very heavy rainfall propelled by cyclonic circulation originating from the Bay of Bengal. The heaviest rainfall was recorded between Pondicherry and Tamil Nadu Delta, where the Indian Meteorological Department registered up to 17 centimeters of rainfall. Expectations persist for ongoing light to moderate rainfall accompanied by intermittent intense spells, thunderstorms and lightning across coastal districts of Tamil Nadu. In response to the heavy rainfall, educational institutions in 10 districts announced holiday. And DD India correspondent Anbarasan joins us from Chennai in Tamil Nadu. Well, Anbarasan, what is the state of the rains in the city right now?
Actually, due to the cyclonic circulation in the Bay of Bengal and also the Arabic Sea, the rain clouds are actually very dense and far coming towards southern districts and also the coastal districts of Tamil Nadu. Due to that, last 2 days there is a heavy rainfall, particularly the eastern coasts where the Puducherry to Nagapattinam, and particularly there is a 20 centimeter rainfall has been recorded in the Sirgadi, the Nagapattinam district, and also due to that actually 250 hectares of crops has been affected due to that, and also the mobility in few parts, particularly city and those areas has been affected. And due to that, the schools and educational institution of 10 and more district has been given holiday by the district administration. And also the IMD's predicted a heavy rainfall to around 29 districts of Tamil Nadu out of 36, particularly the southern part, Tirunelveli and the Western Ghats areas. The rainfall has been continuously last 2 days. Due to that, they've given an alert to them. And also the fishermen who are going for the fishing in the sea, they also given a warning that till now it should be given that. And also in that
yes. And amid this...
And yeah.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah. So regarding this, the administration given a warning to that, and also in particularly the Chennai city right now, actually the IMD is given rain, heavy to moderate rain, and yesterday it last 24 hours, and today also it's continuously light raining is there.
Right. But Amit,
and also particularly the low level area of residential parts, the water has been a little bit lagging there. Yeah.
Right. Also, amid IMD warning, any other advisories been issued by the government there?
Right now, actually, the rainfall has been not the level of a flood situation that happened in last December. Actually, it's predicted around 5 to 20 centimeter. It is a normal rain, and it's coming. It's last 2-3 days. It's not a sudden rainfall, and also registered. The previous flood situation in the southern district in Chennai, the rain spell has been a single day has been around 100 centimeters, but that level has not given. So the warning has been moderate only. It's not expected to a flood-like situation. That is what IMD is saying.
All right. Thank you for that update, Anbarasan. And moving on, India Meteorological Department has also issued an orange alert of cold wave over parts of Punjab, Haryana, Delhi NCR, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, with cold to severe cold day conditions to continue. The IMD forecast dense to very dense fog at night and morning hours in the northern India. Several parts of Indian capital Delhi woke up to dense fog accompanied by a bone-chilling cold wave. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. The Republic Day parade rehearsals are in full swing in Indian capital Delhi's Kartavya Path as the capital city battled with cold waves and icy winds. The contingent showcases their might as they marched along the stretch between India Gate and Rashtrapati Bhavan. Indian security forces were seen marching to drum beats at the Kartavya Path. In a unique combination of tradition, religion and sacrifice, a large number of devotees, including children, celebrates the Flower Kavadi festival in the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu. Devotees carry kavadi, which is a wooden pole with 2 baskets that contain offerings to the deity. The devotees carry the kavadi for various reasons, such as to ask for forgiveness, to seek blessings or to fulfill a vow. Preparations are in full swing for the consecration ceremony of Lord Ram Temple in Indian city of Ayodhya. Special arrangements have been made near the Saryu River for the rituals. The elaborate 7-day rituals of the Ram Temple consecration ceremony will begin on the banks of the Saryu on January 16th and will culminate with the consecration of Lord Ram's idol on the 22nd of January. To show the devotion towards Lord Ram and Ayodhya Dham, a physics teacher, Dr. Ajay Mittal, has written 12,585 verses of Ramcharitmanas on a miniature glass plate. Mittal has also been recognized by the Indian Book of Records for this feat. Ram Darbar is also engraved on the plate along with many other Hindu gods. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli recalled to India's T20 international squad for Afghanistan series beginning on the 11th of January. And 2024 Golden Globes Award kick-off on Sunday in California's Beverly Hills.
In a world internet that never stops, where information shapes our reality. One app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world, one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights, and authentic information.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Kuran, and on to some business news now. Asian share markets moved slowly on Monday as inflation data from China and Tokyo are due this week, with analysts looking for deflation to ease a touch in China. Another reason for the slow growth was attributed to a corporate reporting season where robust results are needed to justify high stock valuations. Geopolitical tensions were also on the radar as disruptions in the Red Sea raised oil prices and shipping costs in Europe. In the United States, congressional leaders agreed on a $1.6 trillion spending deal aimed at averting a partial government shutdown. Also, U.S. Congress has agreed on a $1.59 trillion spending deal aiming to avert a partial government shutdown later this month, informed the U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson on Sunday. This comes when both the houses reach closer to the January 19 deadline for funds approval. Last year, both the houses could not come to an agreement on 12 annual bills for government funds for the fiscal year beginning in October. The designated amount for defense spending is $886 billion and $704 billion for non-defense spending, subject to an increase later. Well, oil prices dipped on Monday with sharp cuts by top exporter Saudi Arabia and a rise in the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries output. Saudi Aramco dropped price of Arab light crude for Asia to the lowest in 27 months. The world's largest oil exporter also cut prices for North America, Northwest Europe and the Mediterranean. The move comes despite an intensifying geopolitical situation in the Middle East. And Germany's train drivers' union called on members to strike this week. The striking union is demanding a reduction in working hours from 38 to 35 hours per week for shift workers, along with better wage from the state-owned rail operator Deutsche Bahn. The union has announced a strike in passenger transport starting early on Wednesday and lasting until Friday. The freight transport drivers begin the strike on the 9th of January, the union said. You're watching DD India News. Time now for some sports news. Batters Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli have been recalled to India's T20 international team after more than a year for the three-match T20 international series against Afghanistan, starting in Mohall on January 11th. The duo last played a T20 match for India was the World Cup semi-final loss to England in Adelaide in November 2022. They've not been selected in the shortest format since then. Rohit would captain the side against Afghanistan as Hardik Pandya continues to remain out of action due to injury. The second T20 international will take place on the 14th of January and the third on the 17th of January. Well, Australia secured a 6-wicket win over India in the second T20 international to level the three-match series 1-1. India was restricted to 130 thanks to Annabel Sutherland and Georgia Waham, who shared 4 wickets between them and conceded just 35 runs in the 8 overs. India kept losing wickets regularly to end up with a below-par total. The target never looked threatening, with Dew also came into play. Mandhana, who looked good for her 23, was unable to convert her start falling to Sutherland's shot ball while trying to go big. Australia started rapidly in the chase, helped in part by the dew that had come in. Captain Alice Healy used the fielding restrictions in the power play to her advantage, coming down the track and lofting the ball over the fielders in the ring to find boundaries. Though Australia lost 4 wickets, but Elise Perry and Phoebe Litchfield shared an unbroken stand of 36 to take the visitors over the line. And the Japan's women's hockey team received a warm welcome in Ranchi city of Indian state of Jharkhand. The team performed the traditional dance. They will take part in the highly anticipated International Hockey Federation Olympic qualifiers, which are scheduled to take place from the 13th to the 19th of January. Japan will begin the campaign against Czech Republic on the 13th of January. The other teams in the Pool A are Germany and Chile. Pool B includes host India, New Zealand, Italy and United States. The top 3 teams from the tournament will qualify for the Paris Olympic Games 2024. And Germany beat top seeds Poland to clinch the United Cup in Sydney after Alexander Zverev and Laura Siegemund won the deciding mixed doubles tie over Hubert Hurkacz and Iga Swiatek. With the score tied at 1-1 after Swiatek and Zverev won their respective single matches, the German duo won the doubles match 6-4, 5-7, 10-4. Germany had a relatively poor group stage and just about qualified for the knockouts, but Zverev and Siegemund formed a formidable pair to rescue the side by winning 3 deciders in as many days to lead their team to the title.
Then my team, thank you everybody for coming to the United Cup. Thank you for the guys who also didn't play the United Cup. I mean, you guys had as big as a role as anybody, you know, supporting from the bench for the last 10 days. I think it's been absolutely amazing. It's been a pleasure, and it's been absolutely so much fun for everybody to be part of this team, especially for me. Yeah, I really thank you guys for being part of this. I really, yeah, couldn't be happier sharing this trophy with anybody than you guys.
And the Australian Open will run from January 14th to the 28th. Defending men's single champion Novak Djokovic seeks an unprecedented 11th title in Melbourne, while Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus aims to retain the women's trophy.
The first Grand Slam of the year is here, and fans are all set to flock the Melbourne. In a bold move, the Australian Open 2024 is all set to kick-start on the 14th of January, deviating from its traditional Monday start. The tournament's extended duration of 15 days aims to prevent late-night finishes, ensuring a smoother and more viewer-friendly experience for tennis fans. Qualifying battles will commence on the 8th of January as players would vie for coveted spots in the main draw, requiring triumphs in 3 qualifying matches. The women's singles final is scheduled to take place on the 27th of January, while the men's final will conclude on the 28th of it. Defending men's singles champion Novak Djokovic seeks an unprecedented 11th title in Melbourne. The Serbian star is the top seed, facing stiff competition from Spain's rising star Carlos Alcaraz, Russia's Daniil Medvedev and Italy's Yannick Sinner. Meanwhile, Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus aims to retain women's trophy, seeded second after Poland's Iga Swiatek. Women's field showcases American sensation Coco Gauff, 2022 Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina, and a determined Emma Raducanu making strides in a comeback journey after wrist and ankle surgeries. The Australian Open singles draw is set for the 11th of January, featuring 128 players, with 32 being seeded. Seedings, determined by players' world rankings, aim to ensure competitive matchups while preventing clashes of top contenders in the early rounds. The draw event marks the beginning of an exciting fortnight of intense competition and gripping tennis action down under. Varsha Kotwal's report for DD India.
And moving on, the Hollywood Awards season began as the 2024 Golden Globes Award honored the best of television and film on Sunday in California's Beverly Hills. 3 television shows dominated the Golden Globes. HBO's Succession won 4, including the award for Best Drama Series. Netflix's Beef also made waves, winning Best Limited Series as well as Best Male and Female Performances for Stephen Yeun and Ali Wong, respectively. The Bear won the Best Comedy Series, while main star Jeremy Allen White won Best Performance by Male Actor in a musical or comedy category. Film Oppenheimer won major categories, including for Best Motion Picture Drama. Christopher Nolan bagged Best Director. Cillian Murphy won Best Actor in a Movie Drama, and Robert Downey Jr. took Best Supporting Actor. Emma Stone was named Best Actress in a Motion Picture Comedy or Musical for Poor Things. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.